Fox, movies like this are a part of the reason why you're better off on Disney's hands than your own. Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Stews here, and welcome back to another review. Oh wait, scratch that. This is not a review. This is a straight up extreme rant on Fantastic Four, or rather Fant4stic. Yeah, I think Fant4stic. I'm more comfortable with referring to this movie as Fant4stic because I mean you can easily tell that I'm referring to the 2015 reboot when I say Fant4stic. So Fant4stic came out in the year 2015 and is an attempted reboot of the Fantastic Four comics. Pretty much the third attempt now, and is directed by Josh Trank, who directed Chronicle, which is awesome, and Capone, which yeah. And it stars Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, Jamie Bell, Toby Cabell, Reg E. Carthy, Tim Blake Nelson, etc. And so the film tells the story of Reed Richards, who wants to build this teleportation device. He's been planning to do this as a kid, but apparently everybody hates on the idea because it's not realistic enough, and that he's supposed to make an experiment that matches the real world. But then thankfully he is approached by Dr. Franklin Storm, who actually believes that Reed's teleportation device that he's been doing since a kid can actually lead into something realistic, something for the future. So Reed gets hired into his company, into Franklin Storm's company, where he meets up with Sue Storm, who is his daughter, Franklin's daughter, and pretty much the best, well, if you can call her that, best in the lab. And then you also got Ben Grimm, who is Reed Richards' friend, childhood friend. And then you also got Johnny Storm, who apparently is a racer. He's not a scientist, but he's forced to work in his father's lab in order to get money, for the money. And so yeah, together, the five of them, yeah, the fifth one being Victor Von Doom, must work together to build the teleportation device that Reed has wanted, and then this leads them to go to use the teleportation device to go to another dimension, dimension, which gives them superpowers. Yeah, with Mr. Fantastic, who can stretch his arms. You got the Human Torch, who can control fire. You got the Invisible Woman, who can be invisible, and you got the Thing, who is made of rocks. So all four of them are pretty much tasked to work together against the Doctor Doom. Since one of their own, Victor Von Doom, has betrayed them the moment he has turned to Doctor Doom, as he wants to use the teleportation to pretty much end the real world in order of his dimension. Oh, I'm gonna need some water for this rant. Excuse me for a sec. Oh, that feels good. Oh boy. Yeah, now I'm ready to rage at this film. So yeah, now I know a lot of people were on board with this film when it was first announced, due to the fact that it was going to be a gritty and grounded superhero film. And I will admit, I was actually one of those people who wasn't on board with the idea of a grounded and gritty superhero flick, especially coming from the same director as Chronicle. Now, I have never seen Chronicle at that time. I actually started watching Chronicle. I saw Chronicle for the first time during the pandemic. I've never seen it when it came out, so I didn't really know who Josh Trank is at that time. But I did hear a name Chronicle. I just didn't really know what it was. Yeah, I was on board with the idea of it. I really liked the trailers a lot. The trailers had me sold. It was actually pretty excited for this film. But then it was very alarming when the reviews came out, and it got like, an extremely low rating. I even remember it started off with a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, but that 20% went down, 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 and now it got 9%. So I saw the movie in cinemas, and oh my goodness. Oh man, yeah. I always hated this movie with a passion. Even back then, I honestly would rarely come out of a movie theater saying, wow, that movie sucked. But Fant4stic managed to give me that impression. Probably one of the worst movies I have ever seen in a theater, because most of the movies I skip. I don't see in theaters because I know it's going to be bad. But this is one of those rare cases where I actually saw a bad movie in theaters, and it turned out to be this rubbish. And yeah, this is one of the most hated superhero films of all time. It gets backlash after backlash after backlash, and not only that does it have a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it has an 18% audience rating, which is a new low for superhero films. I don't even know if there's a movie with an audience score lower than that. So last night, like a couple of hours after I saw and review and posted my review for Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, I saw a video from the YouTuber Bullets and Blockbusters. Talking about the history behind this film's disaster and what the film was supposed to be before Fox meddled with the project. I know people were saying that Josh Trank had nothing to do with this movie's disaster, and it was all Fox, but and that Josh Trank would have made this film amazing. But actually, the real person who could have made this film something special is Jeremy Slater, who was initially Josh Trank's hired writer to write the script for the film, and he wanted to make the best Fantastic Four film he could ever be, because he is a true fan of the characters and comic books in general. While Josh Trank, on the other hand, not only hates superhero films, but also hates the Fantastic Four comics that Jeremy Slater showed him. And yeah, the video explained what Jeremy Slater's version was supposed to be about, and while it's hard for me to summarize in this video, and I won't, yeah, I'll just say it sounds awesome. It could have been something special, but unfortunately, Fox rejected it, and so yeah, both Josh Trank and Jeremy Slater had creative differences. Creative differences, because Jeremy Slater wanted to make a perfect comic adaptation that stays true to the comics, while Josh Trank was only doing this film just to direct a superhero film that does not feel like a superhero film at all. That was Josh Trank's only goal. He wants to show superhero films, to show other superhero films what kind of superhero film that he wants. And yeah, too bad for that. So apparently, from what I heard, Josh Trank's vision of the movie was supposed to be a gritty film that delves into the realistic consequences of humans gaining superpowers and the horrors that came along with it. That is a damn brilliant premise, but unfortunately, you still needed Jeremy Slater to at least make the characters feel like the characters from the comics. And also, by the way, another thing, Jeremy Slater's Fantastic Four film that he wrote was apparently supposed to be like the Avengers, but not only was the budget too way too big for it, but it wasn't the movie that Josh Trank wanted to make, since he hates the Avengers. So yeah, you can also, and I'm sorry, something dropped. And I'm sure you've heard of the production hell of this film, like with all the reshoots and all that stuff, and Josh Trank being an asshole in the production and abusing his actors and all the rumors and all that stuff, and the fact that Josh Trank put out a tweet saying that his version was supposed to be would have been way better, but too bad that you wouldn't see it. So yeah, I think this film has one of the most interesting behind the scene disasters of any film, period. And yeah, and it turned out for the worst, because Because to me personally, I think this movie deserves every ounce of hate it gets. Period. I am not going to defend this movie one bit whatsoever. Although if there's one thing I kind of disagree on, it's not the worst superhero film ever made, nor is it the worst Marvel movie ever. Like Morbius, to me personally, Morbius is my least favorite Marvel movie. But not only that, but Morbius is also my personal least favorite superhero film of all time. It takes the cake. Yeah, as bad as both movies equally are, like just based on how horribly made they are, at least Fant4stic felt easier to watch than Morbius. Morbius was honestly so hard to watch because not only was it incredibly boring and torture to sit through, well, Fant4stic is just as boring too. But yeah, it was just painful to watch. Yeah, like it was beyond unwatchable. Fant4stic is like more watchable in comparison. But yeah, it's definitely my second worst superhero film of all time. In fact, yeah, this movie is worse than any DC movie. It's worse than Batman and Robin. It's worse than Catwoman. It's worse than Supergirl 1984. It's worse than It's worse than Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, and it's worse than Catwoman. Yeah, yeah, I take anything from DC over this one. Although Marvel's still better than DC, don't worry. I mean, at least this isn't Disney Marvel, aka the proper Marvel. Yeah, every single thing is wrong with this piece of garbage, and this is one of those films that proves that Fox is better off with Disney. At least 20th Century Studios hasn't had a movie under production held on the same level as this, and at least 20th Century Studios is actually very respectful to the directors of Vision and all that stuff. Unlike 20th Century Fox, yeah. Who agrees with me that 20th Century Studios is way better than 20th Century Fox? Despite, I will admit, the best 20th Century Fox, such as, Empire Strikes Back and Logan, are slightly better than 20th Century Studios' best film, like, Avatar: The Way of Water and West Side Story. So I will admit that, but that doesn't change anything. And to kick things off with every single reason as to why this movie was a complete and utter failure in every single way possible, the film is boring. Oh my god, this was one of the most boring movies, not just superhero films, but boring movies I have ever seen in my life. It's fine if Josh Trank prefers to make a gritty and realistic film, but at least make it enjoyable and action-packed. The Dark Knight trilogy may be gritty and grounded, but at least they're still fun and enjoyable to watch, especially when they have lots of action. The final cut of Fant4stic that we got did not feel grounded or gritty at all. It's not even dark. Like the dark, it felt like a nothing of a movie. It was neither lighthearted nor dark. It just had such a vanilla tone to it. And I know this film is trying to be different from your typical superhero film, but there is a difference between that and not feeling like a superhero film at all. This movie was a latter. It did not feel like a superhero film in the slightest bit. In fact, it felt like nothing. There was no specific genre to it other than, I guess, sci-fi, but that's basically it. The first half of the movie was just the main characters building this teleportation thingy, and nothing else goes on. Like, if the entire film was just the first 45 minutes, there wouldn't have been anything. Like, there's no identity, there's no genre. Like if it was to be like dark and serious, at least make it feel like that. Like, there's no emotional weight to it. Like, even though the trailer did give a glimpse of emotional weight, but in this film there's none. Because whatever emotional weight this movie attempts to pull off, it does not work whatsoever. Yeah, it is a true testament to how extremely boring it is. It's like it wants the audience to be bored. The planet that they teleport into looks like absolute garbage. In fact, the CGI is horrible in this entire film in general. Like, not only that, but also designs from Doctor Doom and The Thing. Oh dear lord, the Yeah. The planet. I think it's called Planet Zero, but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, this is one of the worst CGI effects I've ever seen put in a superhero film. Not as bad as Morbius and or just Wolverine at least. But if you think the first half of the movie was bad due to the fact that nothing happens in it, holy shit, does the movie get worse when the time jumps to 1 year later. Oh my god. It becomes a jumbled mess in the editing department and especially in the production values too. It was clear that Josh Trank had no interest in the superhero stuff. Just like what the video I mentioned earlier said. Yeah. So yeah, Josh Trank isn't any more. Josh Trank ain't innocent nearly as much as Fox is. Yeah, I think Josh Trank is equally as much to blame as 20th Century Fox. There's literally no action in the film until the final battle, which only lasted for, I kid you not, 2 minutes long. It was a definition of anticlimactic. I mean, everything about the final battle was just horrible. Like, seriously. The heroes don't wear proper Fantastic Four suits, and they don't even have a Four logo in it. Like, that's not Fantastic Four suits. I mean, what kind of suits were these? What kind of costumes do they have to wear? And boy, the cast and characters are sure awful. None of the characters have any character development in the sliced bit. I mean, you literally couldn't care less about anything else, about any character in this film, and I certainly didn't. Everyone and the actors look so bored and disinterested in working in the film. And you know what's even more embarrassing? This film has such a massive A-list cast, and some of them are even Oscar worthy. Like Miles Teller, the film prior to this that he started is Whiplash. Seriously, Miles Teller, this is how you follow up Whiplash? Are you kidding me right now? And also Kate Mara, who starred in House of Cards. I mean, I know Kate Mara isn't like one of the greatest actresses ever, but she's fine in a lot of things, like House of Cards, and also her cameo in Iron Man 2 is one of my favorite parts in the film. Even though it's still bad, it still sucks. So, and you also got Michael B. Jordan, whose film prior to this was Fruitvale Station, and then he went on to star in Creed, and then had a much better Marvel role than and also had a much better Marvel role in what's that? Black Panther as Killmonger. Sorry, I almost forgot that. And also Jamie Bell, who I don't remember a lot from him, but I do remember he starred in some incredible projects. Well, he did voice Tintin in The Adventures of Tintin, so there's that. All incredible actors, but the problem is that they don't fit the Fantastic Four roles at all. Miles Teller does not fit as Mr. Fantastic. Kate Mara was actually okay as Invisible Woman, but still would have had better choices. Michael B. Jordan is not Johnny Storm, and also Jamie Bell ain't a thing. They don't fit. But yeah. Oh, and by the way, what's with Kate Mara's wig in the third act? It was so obvious when you look at Kate Mara's hair in the first half and then in the second half. Like, good God. Also, by the way, Josh Trank actually wanted a black actor. And honestly, it would have been better since Johnny Storm and Sue Storm were supposed to be biological siblings, not adopted. So if Johnny Storm and Franklin Storm are black, then make her black too. Make Sue Storm black too, Invisible Woman. If I were to cast a black actress as Invisible Woman, I would have personally chose Lupita Nyong'o. She's around Kate Mara's age, and it would have worked. Or maybe not a black actress, but I can't really think of a black actress in her mid-30s currently that comes to mind. But a black actress who's currently in her late 30s in today I would have fan casted her as Invisible Woman, but Lupita Nyong'o is who I can come up with in mind. But the worst character in the film is Victor Von Doom. Oh dear Lord. Just like in the Fantastic Four 2005 and Rise of the Silver Surfer, Now I'm not sure if this film's Doom is worse than the version of the original, but as Victor, I'd say Toby Kebbell is slightly worse. Sure, yeah, maybe acting wise a little better than no, not better, but like not worse than the actor who played Doom in the 2005 version. But at least character wise, I mean, they gave a hint that Victor was eventually going to be evil. Like, at least there was a motive in Victor in becoming evil. At least you could see that he was going to become the Doctor Doom. At least you can see him as Doctor Doom, even if not well executed for both Victor and Doom and Doctor Doom. With this, the main problem I had with this version of Victor is that he does not feel like he was going to be a villain at all. He seemed way too likable and innocent to be a villain. And like there was no foreshadowing that he was ever going to become a villain. He was perfectly cool with Reed. He had no problem with any of the Fantastic Four members. So what was the point of making him the villain when there's like literally no setup or no motivation? Yeah, you literally look at him and question, this is the guy who's going to turn into Doctor Doom later on in the film. Yeah, there is like nothing in this character. So when Doctor Doom became evil, when he became Doom, I mean, he literally became evil for like absolutely no reason and started killing people. I know maybe it would make sense if Victor was if Victor just eventually became Doom and Doctor Doom isn't aware that he's Victor, and probably Victor forgot about himself. That would have made sense, but it seemed like he was actually aware that he's still Victor, but that he just became evil for absolutely no reason. Yeah. And once again, Fox treats Doctor Doom like a joke. Can we get Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom already? Yeah. And don't get me... And yeah, this film cuts out so many awesome action scenes. And yeah, this film would have had some of the greatest action scenes in Fantastic Four. Obviously, that scene when Reed went out into hiding and then the military caught him and then he also got the thing having a small fight with Reed Richards. It was originally supposed to be a longer fight, but of course Fox is so delusional, so they cut out that one fight scene. And also there was a scene with showing the Fantastic Four jet where the thing falls off the jet and literally crashes a tank with like a superhero landing. That was seen in the trailer and it was awesome, but Fox cut it because they had to. Why? And don't get me started on the ending when Reed gets the name Fantastic Four just by the thing saying it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Oh my god, that was so cringe. That was so cringe worthy of how Reed Richards came up with a line. Yeah, it just made me so like cringe. I mean, and yeah, and also by the way, there is absolutely no chemistry throughout them because they like never work together as a team. When it came to their powers, because in the entire 1 year span, all of these heroes like suffering with their powers, they literally split up for the entire years, and then the military would how do I say this? The military would use them as weapons for their individual missions. And by the way, what was the point of what was the point of who was that guy again? Harvey. Who was that? Yeah, what was the point of Harvey again? And yeah, so yeah, apparently the Fantastic Four are used as military weapons. Like they work solo while Reed is hiding in Central America because he knows that this is all his fault. He was aware, but he doesn't care because character development does not exist in this film. Now, do I have anything good to say about this film? Well, I will say this. I will give this film credit. At least it did not feel long. At least it's not long. So, at least it was a relief when the film was over. At least it didn't feel long. If this film was 2 hours long, good Jeebos, it could have been worse. So overall, Fant4stic is just nothing but a total disaster and one of the worst superhero films of all time. But there's nothing else I could expand on because it's pretty much the popular opinion that Fant4stic is considered to be one of the worst superhero films of all time. Like, seriously, can the Fantastic Four first steps come out any sooner? At least make time go faster before July 2025 when we can finally get to see it. So yeah, this is the second worst superhero film of all time, second only behind Morbius, and it is also the second worst movie of 2015. I bet you are probably wondering if I consider this to be the worst movie 2015. No, that still goes to that still goes to 50 Shades of Grey, but this is a close second. So yeah, I wish I could have said more about this. I wish I could have made this like as long as 30 minutes. But the fact that I have this much to say and not anymore just goes to show how much of a nothing this movie really is. And that's the best way to describe this movie. It's nothing. So with that said, I'm going to give Fant4stic 2015 0 stars out of 5. Garbage movie. Woo! Yeah. Man, man, at least I can finally let go of this film now. I will never rewatch this film ever again. So also for my extreme rant on Fant4stic 2015. And before I forget, I'd like to give a shout out to Lambo Rock Strikes Back because this is his worst movie of all time and I can totally see why. So yeah, that's all for my extreme rant on it. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Fant4stic 2015? Let's be real here. Who likes this film? Everybody I know hates this film. But I have a question for y'all. Would you say that this is your worst superhero film of all time? Or you can name a few superhero films that are worse than this. Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more videos to come. Yeah, my next planned review is a review of Split leading up to Trap. Yeah, you might think that I'm gonna be reviewing all of M. Night Shyamalan's movies leading up to Trap, but actually, it's just gonna be Split because it's my personal favorite M. Night Shyamalan film. So yeah, bye guys.